Starting you.
Yeah. It's setting up live. Okay, we're live.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Let me see. Here we are. I am Director Maeweather, Captain Hebbon, Sean Hebbon. We're back. This is March 2022. I'm sorry, this is our first Tuesday night talk of the year, but it's been a busy year, as you may see. What are our topics tonight, Sean?
Today we're gonna be talking about body cameras.
Body cameras, yes.
Body cameras, and as well as talk about some Community Relations Bureau events that are coming up. We may get some questions coming in that we could address if we can.
Okay, all right, sounds good. We are doing this tonight without our techie, Captain Rizzo. He's off this week, so we're going at it solo, but we're good. We're gonna make this work. We're live, we're here, we're doing it. So body cams, I know most of you probably have heard that in 2020, the governor signed a bill which required all law enforcement officers to wear body cameras in most situations. And that bill, I'm going to say, didn't shock a lot of people because I think most departments were gearing up to get the body cameras anyway. I know we were, and we were actually in, negotiations with different companies trying to get prices for body cameras and quotes and things like that. So we were prepared and on our way to getting them. And then December 2020, the governor came out with a bill giving funding toward the body cameras. So the grant that was given, it's for the actual body camera device, not all the hardware and accessories that goes with it. But listen, any free money is good money, okay? And, Franklin was eligible and we did receive some of that funding from the state. And we are very appreciative in light of the fact that we had to get them either way. So a couple of weeks ago, after much testing and, tech proofing everything that we needed to do and training our officers, we went live. So you will see our officers on the road with body cameras. You'll see the red light. The officers should tell you they are recording. And, it's a lot of nice perks of that. I think for me, I think the cameras make the officers more accountable. And, you can only improve our performance with cameras. I know a lot of times in most police departments, when you first start out with something new, or any department, schools, wherever, you have to do a new procedure. Everyone's like stressed out about it. But, after a few weeks, it's like just old hat. Everyone's used to it. So I think right now we're already in that stage. Everyone's used to it. And I talk to the officers and they're like, I want my body camera. They do everything with the body camera. And, when in doubt, they will wear their body camera. So I think it's interesting that we are now in the 21st century and, look, body cameras are a way of life. Who knew that we would be here? We always did record though, right, Sean?
Yes.
I mean, I know I've been in the department for 2 years, but
Yeah,
we
when I first came to Franklin in 1997, we were really just getting into the mobile vision. So the cars were slowly being implemented, and then we went to the car and the audio on the officers. So the officers had audio for pretty much most of my career. Now with the body cam, it just takes it up to the next level, having the audio now coupled with the video. That really is a different impact.
Yeah, because the car cameras, you can't drive a car into a house. Well, you can, but no one
Right.
else. But,
It's not what we want.
we don't want to do that. But, so what happens is once the officer would leave the car or the area of the car, you would have sound, but you wouldn't know technically, you couldn't physically see or visually see what was going on inside. So hence came the body cam. And I mean, I just think it's great. We have a 5-year contract and, it's fully warranted. The officers, if they break them, they're covered, they're replaced. So it's not like it's another burden or another piece of equipment that we have to keep replacing and keep buying. It's covered. So that's great. And I think for the most part, what's going to happen is, citizens, everyone's going to want something recorded. Listen, let's face it. What's the first thing people do now with their cell phones?
Video cameras. It comes right out. Cell phones right in, right
It
out there.
comes right out. So I think it's great. It's for all uniform patrol, traffic, proactive enforcement, anyone doing regular duties with any public interactions, front desk personnel. Listen, if we're going to interact with the person, we're going to wear our body cams. It's up to the citizen, though. That's interesting to say they do not want to be recorded. And there, most circumstances, the officer can honor that. In some circumstances, the officer may not be able to honor that. And what's interesting and tricky about it is, listen, we can always redact. If it's something that is recorded that should not be recorded, they have redaction software where they can do that. And there's no trickery, there's no tricks. Everything is stamped. So even if I go in and I view a video, it tells us, Director Maeweather viewed a video from this time to that time. It could tell you exactly what I viewed. It could tell you exactly what was redacted. And there's always an original of what was recorded. So,
Right.
you know,
And
it,
that's an important point, because I know a lot of people feel that sometimes it's they're not comfortable with how it's being stored and the manner in which things are available. And really, to your point, when it comes down to that stuff, everything is documented. So
Mhm.
it's a check for everyone involved,
Right.
and it's there's nothing that's happening behind the scenes with the video that's going to change it from what it is. It is what it is.
And let's hear this from me. It is a second degree crime,
Mhm.
second degree in New Jersey for an officer or anyone else to tamper with body cam footage.
Yeah.
And our officers know that. So it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It is what it is when it's recorded, right?
Right.
Um, so they have that. They have that. We know that. So, I think a lot of times too, we don't understand certain operations within the police department. So that's why I'm bringing that up, just to let the seriousness of it, and the officers are aware. So they're not trying to tamper with the body cam footage. No one's trying to, slice out the piece where they did something wrong, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. And on top of it, being a second degree crime to tamper with the body cam footage, you can have an official misconduct charge, and it's just serious trouble. That saying, the cover up is worse than the crime. Trust me, it is. So we don't do that. We don't expect any of that. So I just want everyone to be aware, and I don't want any conspiracy theories about, they could take video and they could, no, we don't.
Right.
Absolutely not. It's everything is timestamped. Trust me.
Pointless.
It
Right.
is. It is. So, um, so here's the other part. So if there's a use of force incident, um, they can't turn off the cameras until an prosecutor or AG tell them to turn it off. A DAG, Deputy Attorney General. So that's the other thing. Those cameras will roll forever. So I don't know if anyone has seen any of that on YouTube. I've watched some of those videos on YouTube of different departments who had use of force incidents, and everyone's just standing around recording, waiting until someone shows up. Um, Even if they have to take a break and go to the restroom, they have to remove the camera, keep it recording, go, come back, put it back on. So it's serious. It's serious, and our officers are taking it serious. And I do not anticipate, any issues with that. And I'm happy to have the body cameras. It was a good investment.
You know, it's like I said before. I came in with us on mobile video recorder, and I remember my training officer when I first came here, Officer Kazumchek. He was a big advocate for the mobile vision, and he was one of the first ones to get it on his car. And so I got trained in it, and he was really adamant of of the usefulness of that tool. And he did it for his own, even for his own comfort and knowing, look, I'm doing the right thing, and there's no reason why I wouldn't want to have it there. So if I'm accused of something that's not, that's incorrect, I have that to support me, as well as the accountability to the public, so everyone wins.
Exactly.
So it's good.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's during every interaction. But it's interesting. I just want to let everyone know the body cams cannot be recorded in schools.
Right.
Okay. In medical institutions, sometimes in houses of worship. It depends on what's going on, obviously, everyone. If we had a really critical incident, and I don't even want to speak it into existence, you know, the body cams may stay activated, but normal officers responding to schools, to, health facilities and substance abuse, mental health facilities, churches, the officers would turn that off. And they also do something, you know, so everyone will know is there. They tag it so that people know, that's what it was. That's what they did.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. I think too, I don't know, Sean. I think one of the things too with body cams, if a person is uncomfortable being recorded on the body camera, express that to the officer. An officer will explain to you whether he or she can turn it off. And if they cannot, they will explain why they can't turn it off. Okay. And they should know that instantly.
Yes.
Okay.
A
I
lot of
think,
training involved in this.
yeah.
A lot of training.
And,
A lot of
and
training.
that is why we've been so busy for the first quarter of the year. We wanted to get back here, but a lot has been going on with training. And it's just great. The mind has to stay fresh, and it's good for the officers, like I said, to get this new equipment and, come up to date with a lot of other departments. Some departments have had body cams for
Very
years,
long time. Very
years,
long time.
years.
Yeah.
They're probably working on their second and third set.
Yeah.
But
I know. I remember for some time going out in the community. I guess when body cams first became a thing, there were a lot of people asking, well, how come we don't have body cams? How come we don't have this and that? And I used to explain to them that it's not just a simple thing of we just get them and stick them on. It's a lot that goes into really implementing this, maintaining it, getting everyone, getting our everything that we do behind the scenes up to speed with being able to implement this whole thing. It's a
it
huge thing.
is. And the first thing is funding. And I want to say, a big thanks to the council, to the mayor, to the town manager for, recognizing, when this legislation was passed. I mean, obviously, it was a mandate, but, a lot of places, they waited to the last minute. We did not. We started working on it instantly. That's why we have our body cameras, because Franklin has over 100 police officers. So we had to buy quite a few cameras. Okay. So the manufacturer, as you know, probably was pelting them out very quickly because everyone in New Jersey needed them, not just Franklin. But, we were top on the list because we had started the process very early. I'm talking about it. So we were in the process when the mandate came, and we were like, well, thank goodness we were ahead of this curve. So that was a good thing. It was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think, listen, the cameras are here, the footage is here. Once it's recorded, the prosecutor's office, they have rules in terms of when camera recordings are asked for. We have to go through the prosecutor's office for approval to release those. And, we're gonna follow along with it. We hit some snags, we'll adjust and go back. But I do not anticipate any major issues with the body cameras. Like I said, I believe it can only enhance the performance of our officers. Not just used for, misconduct. We use them for training. We use them for commendations, because there's some great work being done out there. And then, there's things we could do better, and we will look at them for that as well. So I welcome the body cameras, and I'm sure uh, most of my officers agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. You ready to move on to the next topic?
Yeah, let's see. CRB, Community
Yeah.
Relations Bureau. Let me tell you,
Near and dear to my heart.
if you drive by Community Relations Bureau, you should see a little smoke because there's like an engine in there. There's seriously an engine in there. I think every other week there's a new something. And the great part about the Community Relations Bureau is, you have Captain Hebbon and, you have Sergeant Rebecca Leah, very passionate. I'm going to say that about the Community Relations Bureau, but that's what you need. That is really what you need to make that work well. And, some of the ideas that, you guys are coming up with, I'm gonna tell you, some days I'm like, I don't know what they want to
Really?
do in your next career. I think they want to, maybe, I don't know, run I don't know, a new Disney World. I don't know, we'll call it
Well, look,
Heaven,
gotta
Heaven,
have fun,
Heaven and lead the world.
gotta have fun. It's all about having a good time. And um, look, there's I believe we're in an age now where people expect new, different. They expect things to be bold, and no one just wants the same old stuff anymore. Everyone, we have to be, constantly moving and creating something new to really stay engaged, and that's part of the process. Franklin Township invested a lot of time and resources into creating a new website, and it looks great, and we're a big part of that, and that's where a lot of the information of what we're doing and all these new programs that come, we put it out on social media, but the website is a hub for a lot of it.
Mhm.
That's where you go for the applications to sign up for some of the events and programs that we're having. That's where you can find out what's upcoming down the line if you want to be part of anything, or you can find out what are the requirements if there are any. And so a lot of people often ask me, well, where do I find this information? And linking to us on social media, or just logging on to the Franklin Township website will give you all of that information.
Mhm.
As the months are a little warmer, it's also going to be some signage outside of the community relations building with what's immediately upcoming. So if you're driving by, you could always see what's going on out there. We have a number of things coming, and it's just going to be constantly changing. Some of the things that are coming up soon, and this month we have the Citizens Academy, which has been very successful. The Citizens Academy has really taken a lot of people from the community who were just curious about what we do, even people who didn't understand, or people that doubted things that we did, or felt we were doing things that that were misleading in some way. Those are, to me, some of the best students, because you actually get to be part of it, and you see it from from the officer's point of view, and then you make your determination from there. We're not there to try to sway anyone to think like us. We just give you the scenarios that we're in and how we arrive at the results that we arrive at, and then the rest is up to the people in the class to really either understand it or teach us something to help us be better. That's
How
part
many
of it.
people, how many people have graduated so far from all of our?
I think we had I think two, three, I think three groups go through so far.
Mhm.
And I think each group had about 9 to 10 people per class.
Okay.
And the classes are you're not just coming and sitting in a classroom, or we've been doing a lot of them on Zoom because of COVID. But
This
even
next class is going to be on Zoom also?
um well, it's right now it's going to be on Zoom as well. If things open up, we could do certain portions
Mhm.
in together, we will. There's certain portions that we do together when it comes down to some of the practical exercises,
Right.
and those are done outdoors, just for everyone's safety.
I think most people welcomed that on Zoom. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the things that came out of COVID was, people know we can all get together real quick for a meeting on Zoom.
Yeah,
So I think a lot of working people who wanted to participate were
yeah,
able to do so because of Zoom. You can multitask and do things. And
right. Yeah,
so, I mean, I think if we do a hybrid, that's
yeah,
probably what it's going to look like now, because it's hard to do some of, like you said, the practicals on Zoom. Um,
yeah.
no matter
Well,
how.
look, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Some of the people that attended the class, actually, talking to them, they actually liked it because you come home in the evenings and you have a family situation going on, but you still are interested in the programming.
Right.
So certain folks would turn the camera off, do certain things at home while they're listening, jump back in. How things are.
Well,
But at the end, they were able to get some good information. And some of the practicals, you're actually doing motor vehicle stops. You're learning about domestic violence and domestic violent incidents, and even going to do some things at the range, some simulated practicals, virtual practicals on the.
like clarify that now. Clarify that.
Yeah. No, it's actually done virtual, through you have the
Simulator.
goggles actually.
Simulator.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a simulator, and you go through some scenario based stuff, but it is very intense. I mean, like once when you're in the moment, you feel the circumstances that the officers are under, and you have to make decisions, and you get to see how quick and how intense and quick those decisions have to be made, and what the results could or would be based on the decisions that you made. So it's actually very
Mhm.
interesting. And as I said earlier, we learn from the people that attend the class as well, because everyone has a different perspective and a different story, and a different interaction with police officers that our officers that are coming to the class every day of being part of. They're able to kind of bounce things back and forth based on that scenario, and you could talk it out and see it through and understand things from
Mhm.
both sides.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All
So
right.
that
Well,
the application for that is coming is online. The application for that is online. If you want to be part of it, there's still space available. I think there's a decent amount of spots available. So we encourage anyone that's interested in that to please log on tonight and sign up, and you can join in. And also on March 31st, uh, motor vehicles is going to be coming to our township, to actually have some services available right at the municipal building. You could sign up online. There are a limited number of spots. So if going to motor vehicles has been problematic for you based on all of the closures and their schedule and their appointment schedules, it might work out that you could attend
and it's on Saturday.
on a Saturday, March 31st. There'll
Right.
be a couple more coming up this year, but that's the closest one to right now,
And
and
that is
the rest will be
great.
later.
That is great because you can most of the services, and they even have some slots to sign up for your real ID. I think they do a
Yes,
limited amount of those right there too,
absolutely.
right on site.
Yeah,
So,
and as I said, there are limited number of spaces. So if you need one, go on the website and register. You have to register. It'll direct you right to the motor vehicle commission site where you could log in and sign up for a spot right at 495 Demont Lane.
yep.
Um, and then kicking off in April, we're going to have our next installment of CAN, which is Franklin Township's autism program. We started that so far about 2 months ago, and it's been a very, a very useful program both for families dealing with autism and for the police department. We've had just a lot of people register. You can actually register your person on the site, and that registration will allow us and the families to be able to communicate and know things that we need to know, so that we can have a
Yeah,
better contact if should we need to make one.
right. And you know what? I love that program because I have a very good friend in Texas, and her son is um 17, and he does not have the normal responses to certain situations. If you're addressing him, he may not respond the way someone might expect. And so she always worries about officers interacting with her son, because if they tell him to stop, he may or may not stop, depending on what type of mood he's in and what kind of experience he's having at the moment. And it's great for us to connect with, our children, all of our children, but, especially our children who may have special needs, because if we can't provide those special services to them, you
Right.
know, who is? That's our job also, to get to know, our children in the neighborhood. And we want them to come out. We want to meet them. Like I said, we want to meet all the children. Our officers are in the schools, our SROs, school resource officers, and we have class 3 officers in the schools. But outside of them, we still have another 104 officers. So, it's a great way to bring them into our world, so that they know that we do not um, you know, bring harm, because
Yes.
a lot of things are portrayed in the media, social media, and we just want them to know that, they are safe to go to an officer and, ask for help, or just to talk to them.
Yes.
I love it when I see the, kids, the students just talk to the officers, because most of our officers are parents. If they're not parents, they're definitely uncles or
Yeah.
aunts, you
And
know.
look, we some of our officers have are dealing with autism in their own families, and that's
Yep.
the passion that comes behind programs such as this. We in fact officers that help develop this deal with that, and so yeah, they understand what families are going through and certain needs that can be you know that we as a police department could provide. So it's very important that we really use those resources within our police department to create these things. And if you have suggestions for us as to things we could do to improve these programs, and we always welcome that as well, because it's it's a community effort, it's a community building, and we're learning from each other.
Yeah, and I mean, just like this one, this came from a citizen, the suggested program, and we jumped right on it. So, if you have ideas, we're open to it. We're always open to coming up with something new.
Yes. Just to backtrack a little bit, I was told the DMV checkpoint that's coming is actually on a Thursday.
Oh,
Is a
okay.
Saturday one that's going to be coming up a little later into the year, but this one is on a Thursday.
Okay. I see that. March 31st is a Thursday. Is that
Yes.
Rebecca in the background?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, no, it's a Thursday.
We should have
Letting you
just
know.
moved her on here too.
I
Look.
know it would have made life a little easier, right? Instead of
All
flipping
right.
back and forth. Sergeant Leah, you'll be on next time. Talking about some of these programs.
All right. What else do we have coming up?
Yeah. She said May 7th is the Saturday where that's going to be
Oh,
advertised.
okay.
May
All right.
7th.
May
Saturday.
7th. Got it. Well,
All
that's
right.
even better. But what's the hours, March 31st? I'm sorry.
I don't have to pull that up. Sergeant
Rebecca?
Leah, let me know the hours. I know it's gonna come through. For the 31st. She's quick on the she's quick with it too, so I'm gonna get that in a second. But what while I wait for that, I'll just say coming up every month we have a food distribution that we do in conjunction with the Franklin Food Bank. The hours are 10 to 2 p.m.
Okay.
10 to 2. But we have a monthly food distribution that we do in conjunction with Franklin Food Bank. The next one is going to be on April 6th. So you could come and you get free boxes of food, no questions asked. And it's good stuff that you need. It's very good, sustainable food. A lot of times, a lot of vegetables and milk and, different things to just to help. It's still tough times out here.
Yep.
And a little assistance never hurt anyone. So we are happy to do that. And I said it occurs every month. We've been doing them at the Community Relations Bureau, but we've also been moving couple different areas out, in the town as time moves. We were down in the southern end of town at one point a couple months ago.
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll be at the food bank doing some things there as well. Because we do it, I believe it's the first Wednesday of every month. Because it's the next one's on the 4th. So yes, no, Monday, the first Monday of every month. No, Wednesday, I'm right. Wednesday of every month.
Mhm.
Gonna be on the 6th. Food distribution, April 6th. And then for springtime events, we have a Bunny Palooza you can look forward to that we're going to be participating in. And in addition to that, we'll be part of Tour de Franklin. We're going to have
Mhm.
our Community Relations Bureau officers out there. They're going to be on their bikes, and it's a lot coming. All right, so just I would say just continue to log on to our website, follow us on social media. If you're on here looking at us, you should be on our social media. Just connect with us and stay in contact with us for just more information coming on. There's tons of stuff going on. We're going to be coming up down the line. You can look forward to more of our rad defense training for women. That's going to be coming. We have additional officers certified, so we could have a bigger variety of classes. We have some female officers who are going to be instructing as certified instructors. They just had their training and they're going to be joining. And we've been doing actually great work with the youth center because our Franklin Fit program is still operating there. It's phenomenal. Kids in that program are doing some things that put me to shame because I'm afraid to attend because they will make me look. They'll show exactly how in shape I am right now. These kids are doing amazing work in fitness, and it's all supervised. It's a safe environment, and they're really enjoying it. One of them, I think, just got accepted into the military, and he's going to be moving ahead, and he's going to be going to basic training already because he's already been getting geared up and ready to go.
And Detective
And also,
Brown is very proud of that. He is
yes,
very proud of that.
absolutely,
He's very proud of his whole group, but he's like, he feels like responsible for getting him ready for that. And listen, it could be a personal goal, it could be a career goal.
Yes.
Listen, just come out and participate. I think Captain Hebbon, I think, some of our officers are afraid because they don't want to get hurt. And not that it's dangerous, but after a certain number on the age scale.
Yeah.
I get a little intimidated by all the stuff the youngsters are doing.
I get it.
Keep it going.
I get it. Look, we can't afford to get anyone hurt. Everyone has to stay safe. We need all officers ready to go.
But he has great modifications. He told me great modifications. So
and that's one thing. I mean, it's one of those things. It's not a program to come there and shame anyone that's not in shape. It's everyone can get in regardless of your fitness level, and they have people of all fitness levels in the class. You don't have to be muscular and tough. You don't have to be an athlete. You could just be someone that wants to move and get your body moving and have some.
Leave your egos at home, and you can just come and lift a tire.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Yep. And the basketball program is been doing great as well. The basketball program is also at the youth center. They have a wonderful brand new court in there, and it's a program that's again not designed for people that are just phenomenal basketball players, but we also are looking to help those that want to be better and be able to compete at gym at a better level and to sharpen their skills. It's about self-esteem building, confidence building, and skill building
and team building too.
Yeah.
Team building.
Absolutely. And all of these things are going to be time to interact with officers. Officers will be there to interact with you. It's all positive interactions. Officers are not looking to get anything from you other than your time and your energy to be, part of something fun and exciting. And that's how we help the community grow.
Absolutely.
All right.
So let me see. Anything else?
No, no, I think,
Maybe tell me something about a bunny, something.
oh yeah, the Bunny Palooza.
Okay. I am it.
Coming up in the spring. We're going to be putting out more information on that soon.
Okay. All right. I can't wait to hear about that. The bunny.
Well, you
See what
said it's exciting, interesting things that keep getting dropped on you. But that's
I'm telling you, I'm like, some days I'm just like, okay, I can't talk about that right now.
I don't think that's our branch. I think we're doing that in conjunction with
It's still nice. It's still nice. It's still
yes.
nice.
But no, it's yeah, we did similar things at Halloween and during the Halloween months, and I think it's just great. Just a good, community effort. Everyone comes out and just has a good time.
And
Everyone's just happy to be out.
I was going to say that. And you know what, parents, it's something for your kids to do. It is. It's something for us to do. So,
We're
yeah,
outside. We're keeping it safe. If you want to wear masks and whatever makes you comfortable, but we want to keep everyone out and engaged and having a great time.
absolutely.
This is a good time for us to do it. All right.
So do we have any questions?
Um, no, just some positive comments, but I would say this from a safety issue, because I like to add a safety element in some of our discussions. The summer months are approaching, and with the summer months, we're going to have windows open and doors open and things of that nature. And we have to really understand that some of the things that we've talked about on here before about locking your doors, securing your homes at night, are still relevant, probably even more so. Locking your car doors at night, taking valuables out and putting them in the home with you versus leaving them out and about your car is necessary just to keep your vehicle safe. We work hard for our things, and we have unfortunately people in our society that rather take what you worked hard for than figure out a way to earn it themselves. So it's important that you secure those items, and not just to say, well, because I've heard this a lot. Well, yeah, they took it, but it was really nothing, but it was in a bag that looked like it could be something. So if it looks like it could be something, you have to understand the mind of a criminal. They're going to look. They're not ready. They're not really thinking about preserving your vehicle or whatever. They rather grab it and figure it out later. So if it ends up being nothing, they'll take it and throw it away down the block. But you're still deprived of it. So don't risk anything or don't leave anything to assumptions. Just take it out, clear your car at night, lock the door. Every night by routine, the last thing I do before I go to bed is double check my key fobs and just hit the lock and just make sure that I didn't forget to lock my car door.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're running out and you just, you might close it and maybe you didn't hit it, or maybe it bumped in your pocket and then unlocked. You could just hit that lock and you go to bed feeling more secure.
But Captain Hebbon, you know what? We love that spring air. I like to open the backsliding door, let the screen, let the air come in. It's all good. We'll open up your windows. You just have to remember to close them before you go to bed. We're all guilty of it, but you just want to stay safe as well.
Yeah. It's it's unfortunate that this is what life is, at some, but this is the reality, and this is what we have to be prepared and protect ourselves from.
Yep. So.
There are a couple questions I see hidden here. Who is able, regarding the body cams, who's able to review footage of body cam video?
So they passed a law which says in certain circumstances, an officer can review the footage of the body cam. In like use of force incidents, or if there's an IA complaint connected to it, the officers cannot view the body cam footage. Supervisors may be able to view body cam footage and command staff. But it is legislation that's out there that says officers can review the body cam. But again, everything, like I told you, is tagged. You know who viewed it, what they viewed, how long they viewed it, etc. So, all of that is followed, just so you know that.
Gotcha. And right, another question is, I'm curious, let's see, I think body cam is a great idea. I'm curious to know if facial recognition software is layered onto the body cam technology.
No, no, we don't have that. We don't have that element in our body cameras. I hear places that do, but I don't know of any in New Jersey.
Right. Yeah, right now it's just the plain footage. We get the audio and we get the video. Let's see. I see someone is asking about the age limit. I believe that might have come in. We were talking about the
Juveniles.
about
For
the
the
fitness
age.
program. Yeah, that's
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
the fitness programs is middle school and in high school. Anyone in the middle school and high school is able to attend. They have separate sessions for the middle school and for the high school, just for the intensity of it and the size variations of the different students. But we have a middle school class, and then we have a high school class. And though and that program is going to be growing because we're forming some partnerships that we're looking into to really help enhance the programs. Is really about health and fitness and really building just healthier young folks, because I think it'll just add to the town. So part of the community effort is constantly growing and building relationships with some of these other educational and corporate entities that could bring other services to us. We're working on a financial literacy program that we're looking to connect with. We're looking at a health program to deal with more nutrition. So things are going to be coming to add to these things that we are already working on to just make them even better and bring in some outside resources. So it'll be a true community effort. Another example is our Cooking with Cops program. That program, it started off with I think 2 students at a time. Now we're running 8 students at a session, and we moved it over to Franklin High School where we have more cooking facilities available. And
Yeah. That
yeah,
grew very fast. That grew very
yeah.
fast.
I mean, look, that program has taken on some good gains as well, because they also now have a partnership with the Stagehouse restaurant, and the students actually have they actually spend their last class cooking at the Stagehouse, and they work with the chefs at the restaurant and preparing meals, and they prepare a sit down meal for the families at the end at their graduation. They cook the meals. And I said the stuff they're cooking, it's phenomenal. I mean, they're not making burgers and sandwiches. They're really making some serious meals. We have pictures of some of their things on our Facebook page and in our different social media pages. And I was told a few of the students actually ended up getting hired and got jobs from their based on the skills that they've gained in that program. So it's actually very, very good, and is bringing certain things out in students that they didn't know they had, while they're working with officers and getting to know the officers, and the officers are always there. If there's something that you need to talk about with officers, they're there. They're there for you as a mentor, as a friend, to really just help build the relationship.
Okay.
Right.
Any other questions?
Let's see. I think. Let me just double check. It's a lot of very people saying thank you, and I appreciate all of the great comments.
Okay.
If there is a consent training to keep the police department. No. There is no consent training. So wondering if there's any consent training to keep the police department out of negative spotlight. No.
Any what training? I'm sorry.
Says I never hear anything bad about the Franklin Police Department, and I was wondering if there is consent training to keep the police department out of the negative spotlight.
I don't think so. No, no. We
don't
just
need-
train them to do their jobs, and you know what? Be kind to people as much as you can.
And it says, I live in Canal Walk. Can you do a talk with the 55 and older communities on how to protect ourselves? Yes, we can. And we've done that before as far as doing talks at our senior communities. What slowed that down was the COVID restrictions. But now, you know, as the summer months are coming, we could come up with creative ways to do that to make everyone safe.
Yeah.
You know, whether we do it outdoors or virtually, we can pull.
I think you guys should work with Bo to get that going.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that will be coming, and if you are a senior community and want to have that, you could always feel free to reach out to Detective Sergeant Leah, or you could call the Community Relations Bureau, which is the main number of the police department, and that's at extension 7124. Extension 7124, and that will allow them to be able to reach back to you and set up and coordinate any kind of community talk that we have going on. So that's always available, and it's not just for the senior communities. Any community that wants to have a you know, like a gathering to talk about safety issues, we always entertain that.
Okay.
Okay. As far as questions, I think that covers all of our questions.
All right. So, I mean, it is the month of March, and you know, I just want to extend a happy Women's Month to all the women out there. We know that, you know, being a woman can be tough in this world. So we just want to recognize that. And we will be doing something on Facebook to honor our women for Women's History Month. So again, like to say, you know, have a good night, have a great month. Hope to see you next month. We'll have some new topics on Tuesday nights talk.
Thank you very much.
All right. Great job, Sean.
All right, let me just log this off. Good night.